Brothers of the Game. Part 1, The Night That Changed Everything. The sound of a bouncing basketball echoed through the cracked concrete of the Shreveport neighborhood. Streetlights buzzed overhead, and the orange glow of dusk spread across the court like a slow-burning fire. Marcus Carter, 18, confident, calm, and already the star of Southwood High, dribbled lazily, sweat glistening on his forehead. His younger brother, Jalen, 15, wiry, hungry, and full of energy, tried to guard him, but Marcus moved with that effortless rhythm that made the game look easy. "You can't guard me, lil' man," Marcus grinned, spinning past him. Jalen lunged, trying to block the shot, but Marcus rose up and released a jumper that dropped clean through the net. "Again," Jalen shouted, snatching the rebound. "I almost had you that time." Marcus laughed. "You almost had nothing, you jumped too early. Gotta be patient, wait for the body to move, not the ball." Jalen huffed, frustrated. "Man, you sound like coach already." "Somebody gotta teach you," Marcus said, putting a hand on his shoulder. "You gon' be better than me one day, but not yet." Their laughter filled the court until their mom's voice called from the porch. "Marcus, Jalen, y'all better get in here and clean up. Big game tomorrow." Tomorrow, the Louisiana State High School Championship. The night Marcus Carter would finally show the whole state he was ready for college ball, maybe even the NBA one day. Jalen couldn't wait. He bragged to everyone at school, "That's my brother." But fate doesn't always respect dreams. The next evening, the gym was electric. Fans packed the stands, holding posters and chanting Marcus's name. Southwood High hadn't made it this far in a decade, and everyone knew who carried them there. Marcus warmed up, headphones in, eyes sharp. Jalen stood courtside, bouncing on his toes, wearing his brother's warm-up jacket like it was a badge of honor. "You ready, big bro?" Jalen asked. Marcus smiled, "Always." They never made it inside. As they walked to the locker room from the parking lot, a commotion broke out near the back gate, some guys arguing, a car door slamming, angry voices. "Let's just go around," Marcus said. But Jalen froze. One of the men turned and shouted something crude in their direction, stepping toward them. Jalen, young and hot-headed, shouted back. "Yo, chill," Marcus said, stepping between them. "He's just a kid, man." The man shoved Marcus hard. Jalen swung, a wild punch that barely connected, and suddenly everything spiraled. A flash of steel glinted under the streetlight. "Marcus!" Jalen screamed. Marcus stumbled back, clutching his thigh. Blood spread fast down his leg. The man ran. Jalen dropped beside his brother, voice cracking. "No, no, no, stay with me, bro, please." Marcus gritted his teeth, whispering through the pain, "You okay? He didn't cut you." Jalen shook his head, tears streaking down his face. "It's me that I started it, I." Marcus put a bloody hand on his shoulder. "You're good, that's all that matters." Sirens wailed in the distance. Marcus looked toward the gym doors, the muffled sound of the game announcer echoing through the air, and closed his eyes. His career ended right there, before it ever began. Part 2, The Grind. The hospital smelled like bleach and quiet heartbreak. Machines beeped softly beside Marcus's bed. His leg was wrapped thick in bandages, the stitches biting into his skin like reminders of what he'd lost. He stared at the ceiling, motionless. Days passed that way, silence, pain, and the hum of a life interrupted. Jalen sat by the window, hoodie pulled tight, staring out at the parking lot. He hadn't said much since the night it happened. The guilt hung heavy between them, unspoken but alive in every glance. When Marcus finally spoke, his voice was hoarse. "Doc said I'll walk again." Jalen turned, hopeful. "So you can still play, right?" Marcus let out a bitter laugh. "Walk, Jay, that's it. Not run, not cut, not dunk, just walk." The words hit Jalen like a punch. He dropped his gaze, tears threatening. "Marcus, I'm sorry, man. It's my fault, if I hadn't." "Stop," Marcus cut in sharply. "You hear me? Don't say that." Jalen swallowed hard. "But it is." "I said stop, Marcus's voice broke. You think I'd let somebody hurt you? I'd do it again, every time. Jalen didn't know what to say. He just nodded, fighting back tears. After that, Marcus barely spoke for weeks. His friends stopped visiting, the scouts stopped calling, his scholarship offer disappeared. Basketball, the thing he built his life around, was gone. But one morning, something changed. Marcus woke up to the sound of a ball bouncing in the driveway, slow, off rhythm, but persistent. He looked through the window and saw Jalen, hoodie soaked in sweat, dribbling, clumsy but determined. For the first time in months, Marcus smiled. By summer, Marcus had healed enough to move around. He limped out to the driveway one evening, ball in hand, and called out, "Forms all wrong." Jalen turned, surprised. "You talkin' to me?" Marcus nodded. "Yeah, you shootin' like you trying to kill the rim." Jalen laughed nervously. "You coming out here now?" Marcus walked to him, each step heavy but steady. "If I can't play, I can sure as hell make sure you do it right." From that day forward, the training began. Mornings at 5 a.m., dribbling drills until the sun broke the horizon. Evenings, shooting until the streetlights came on. Weekends, running hills, suicides, weights, and film study. Marcus didn't go easy, not once. Again, he'd shout when Jalen missed a shot. "I'm tired," Jalen would yell back. "Good, that means it's working." At first, Jalen hated him for it. The drills, the yelling, the endless pressure, but underneath the anger was respect and love. Marcus wanted him to be great, even if it meant being the villain to get him there. One night, after a brutal session, Jalen threw down his ball. "Man, you don't get it. You're not the one doing this anymore. You're not the one sweating out here." Marcus turned slowly, his expression hard. "You think this is about me? You think I want to be out here reliving what I lost? I'm doing this so you don't waste what I can't have no more." Jalen's chest heaved. The words cut deep. Marcus sighed and added quietly, "You got my blood in you. Don't ever forget that." The years rolled by. Jalen grew taller, stronger, smarter. His handles got tight, his jumper pure, his confidence unshakable. By senior year, he was the best high school player in the state. Reporters compared him to Marcus, calling him Carter II. Every article reminded Marcus of what he'd lost, but he never showed it. He just kept pushing Jalen harder. When Jalen signed his college letter to LSU, Marcus stood behind him, silent but proud. And when Jalen became the one college player in the country, Marcus watched from the stands, a small smile hiding under his cap. Every dunk, every highlight, that was their work. Their pain turned into power. But success has a way of rewriting memories. Jalen got drafted 1 overall. Money, fame, cameras, the world loved him. Marcus stayed in Shreveport, running his own small gym. He trained kids from the neighborhood, teaching them the same toughness he gave his brother. But every time he turned on the TV and saw Jalen's name, he felt that familiar ache, pride mixed with something heavier. One night, Jalen came home after winning his first NBA championship. The whole family threw a party, food, music, laughter filling the house. Marcus sat at the edge of the crowd, smiling but quiet. Jalen walked over, trophy in hand, a little drunk on celebration and pride. "Hey, big bro," he said with a grin, "we did it." Marcus chuckled, "You did it, I just showed you how." Jalen smirked, "Come on now, you can admit it, I'm better than you ever were." Marcus's smile faded, "Don't start that." "I'm serious," Jalen said, his tone changing. "You couldn't touch me now, you was good, but I'm on another level." Marcus looked at him, eyes sharp. "You forget who made you." "I made me, Marcus," Jalen snapped. "You trained me, yeah, but I'm the one who put in the work. You couldn't beat me if your life depended on it." The room went silent. Family and friends watched nervously. Marcus stood, his voice low but firm. "Jalen, you don't want this smoke, not from me." Jalen laughed. "You old bro, you got one good leg and a bunch of excuses." Marcus's jaw tightened. That one leg still enough to put you on the floor. The brothers stood inches apart, years of love and resentment colliding in the space between them. Set it up, Jalen said finally. Tomorrow, one-on-one, let's see what's what. Marcus didn't blink. Fine, but don't cry when the world finds out who the real Carter is. Part 3, the one-on-one. The next day, Shreveport woke up buzzing. Word had spread like wildfire. Marcus Carter, the fallen legend, and his NBA superstar brother Jalen Carter were playing a one-on-one games, and it would be streamed live. Nobody believed it at first, but then Jalen confirmed it himself with a post that shook social media. Tomorrow, me and my brother, no refs, no excuses. Within hours, cameras were set up at Marcus's gym. ESPN showed up. Local news vans lined the street. The court where Marcus had trained hundreds of kids suddenly looked like an arena. Inside, the brothers stood face to face. No crowds yet, just silence. "You sure about this?" Marcus asked, lacing his sneakers tight. Jalen smirked. "You backing out already?" Marcus shook his head. "I just don't want to embarrass you in front of your fans." Jalen laughed, that confident, polished NBA laugh that came from being adored by millions. "You really think you still got it, huh?" Marcus looked him dead in the eye. "I never lost it." When the cameras went live, the gym filled instantly. Kids from the neighborhood, old teammates, reporters, everyone wanted to witness history. Marcus wore an old Southwood jersey, faded, cracked letters, but it fit him like armor. Jalen showed up in his NBA gear, bright, clean, like a billboard come to life. They checked the ball. 1-21, straight up, Marcus said. Jalen nodded. "Let's make it take it. You won't be getting it back anyway." Marcus smirked. "We'll see." Game on. Jalen started strong, smooth dribble, quick step back, jumper, swish. 1-0. He looked over and winked at the cameras. Marcus nodded, unfazed. "Nice shot, you done warming up." Jalen went for another drive, flashy, but Marcus read it perfectly. He cut off the angle, snatched the ball mid-spin, and hit a fadeaway over him. Swish. Jalen blinked. The crowd roared. "Okay," Jalen muttered. "You practiced that one, huh?" Marcus didn't respond. He just kept playing old school, no wasted motion, every move efficient, sharp, deadly. He posted Jalen up, backed him down, pump faked, hit another jumper. 4-1. 5-1. 6-1. Jalen started to sweat. "You trying to make a scene?" Marcus grinned. "Already did." By the halfway mark, Jalen's breathing got heavy. His flash didn't work against Marcus's discipline. Every crossover, every spin move, Marcus saw it coming like he'd written the script. "Slow down," Marcus said after blocking a shot. "You moving too fast for your own brain." Jalen slammed the ball down. "Stop talking." Marcus chuckled. "Now you sound like when you were 15. The crowd laughed, but it strung Jalen. He drove harder, elbows, power, pride, but Marcus matched him step for step. He forced a turnover, then another, then hit a deep jumper that kissed the rim and dropped. 19-8. The whole gym was on its feet. Jalen's eyes burned. "You think this means something, huh? You think beating me brings your career back?" Marcus held the ball, staring him down. "Nah, it just reminds you who gave you yours." Then he stepped back, one dribble, rise, release, swish. 21-8. Game over. The gym erupted, cameras flashed, reporters shouted questions. Marcus didn't celebrate, he just bent over, hands on his knees, catching his breath. Jalen stood frozen, disbelief and humiliation fighting on his face. For the first time in years, he looked small again, like the kid from the driveway, watching his big brother shine. Marcus walked up and handed him the ball. "You forgot where you came from, Jay. Now you remember." Jalen didn't respond. He just walked off the court, towel over his head, the crowd's noise chasing him out the door. That night, the internet exploded. Clips of Marcus schooling Jalen went viral. Analysts debated. Some said it was luck. Others said it was genius. Within days, NBA teams started calling, not for Jalen, for Marcus. They wanted him as a trainer, a mentor, even as a player coach. For the first time in years, Marcus felt alive again. By the next season, he signed a short-term contract with the New Orleans Pelicans. His comeback story lit up the league. Reporters called him the Resurrection. Jalen, meanwhile, played angry. Every game was a statement, every basket an argument. He wanted another shot at his brother on the biggest stage. And fate once again listened. That year's NBA Finals. New Orleans Pelicans versus Los Angeles Storm. Marcus versus Jalen. Brother versus brother again. The series was brutal. Marcus, older but wiser, led with precision and heart. Jalen, in his prime, burned with revenge. They battled through 6 games, each one a war. Game 7, tied in the fourth quarter. The arena roared with energy. Jalen drove to the rim for the win, but Marcus cut him off, the same way he did years ago in that gym. He stripped the ball clean, pushed up court, and hit the mid-range jumper that sealed it. The buzzer sounded. The Pelicans won the championship. During the trophy ceremony, Marcus stood at center court, trophy in hand, cameras flashing all around him. His voice trembled as he took the mic. "Most people don't get second chances," he began. "I almost didn't, but sometimes pain gives you purpose." He paused, looking toward the losing bench, where Jalen sat with his head down. "Jalen," Marcus said, voice cracking, "come up here, man." Jalen looked up, hesitant, then walked slowly to the stage. The crowd went wild. Marcus handed him the trophy. "This belongs to both of us. You pushed me harder than anyone ever could. You made me remember who I am, and now I can finally rest." Jalen's eyes filled with tears. "You ain't retiring, are you?" Marcus smiled softly. "Yeah, I think I've played my last game." Jalen shook his head, voice breaking. "You still the best, big bro." Marcus put a hand on his shoulder. "Nah, you are. You just needed to see what it takes to be one." The brothers hugged as confetti fell around them, not as rivals, but as family reborn. Part 4, Legacy in Shreveport. A year had passed since the championship, since the night Marcus Carter walked away from basketball under a rain of gold confetti. The world hadn't forgotten. Every sports network replayed his story. The man who lost everything, came back from nothing, and taught his brother and the world what greatness really means. But Marcus wasn't chasing fame anymore. He'd come back home. Scene 1, the old gym. Shreveport's heat hit different in the summer, heavy, thick, almost alive. The same old gym where Marcus once trained Jalen now looked brand new. Fresh paint on the walls, polished floors, and a new sign above the entrance. The Carter Foundation, heart over hype. Inside, kids dribbled and ran drills under Marcus's watchful eye. His limp was still there, but lighter now, more symbolic than physical. "Eyes up, Jamal," Marcus shouted, clapping his hands. "Don't watch the ball, feel it. Game ain't played down there." The kids loved him. He wasn't just a coach. He was a hero they could touch. And at the far end of the court, hanging from the rafters, was an old Southwood High jersey, number 11, framed and lit like a relic. One evening, as practice ended, Marcus turned off the lights and stepped outside into the fading sunset. A black SUV pulled up. Out stepped Jalen, hoodie, sunglasses, quiet confidence. Marcus smiled. "Well, look who remembered the address." Jalen grinned. "Heard some kids talking about a legend teaching them how to ball. Had to come see for myself." They hugged, no tension this time, no rivalry, just brothers. Jalen looked around the gym. "You fixed this place up nice." Marcus nodded. "This place fixed me." They sat on the old wooden bleachers, the sound of crickets echoing through the open doors. "So how's LA?" Marcus asked. Jalen shrugged. Loud, lonely, you know how it is. He paused. I ain't been back here in a while, didn't realize how much I missed it. Marcus smiled faintly. Sometimes you gotta lose the noise to hear your own heartbeat again. Jalen leaned forward. I want to help, bro, for real. I got money now. Let's expand this. Maury gyms, camps you teach, I fund. Call it Carter Academy. Marcus looked at him, eyes glistening. You sure about that? Jalen nodded. Yeah, you taught me the game. Let's teach the next generation together. For a long moment, Marcus didn't say anything. Then he stood and offered his hand. Let's do it. Scene 2, the first camp. 3 months later, the first Carter Academy summer camp opened. Hundreds of kids came from all over Louisiana, some from small towns with nothing but a dream. Marcus ran drills. Jalen showed up every afternoon, working with the older players, telling stories about the league and the lessons his brother taught him. One kid, no more than 13, stayed after camp one night, dribbling in the corner of the court. Marcus noticed. You love the game, huh? The boy nodded. Yeah, my brother says I ain't good enough, but I ma prove him wrong. Marcus smiled that old knowing smile. Good, let him talk, then let your game answer. Jalen, overhearing from the side, chuckled. Man, you sound just like you did with me. Marcus looked over. That's the point. Scene 3, one last game. Late one evening, after everyone left, Marcus and Jalen stayed behind. The court was quiet, just them, a single ball, and the echo of their youth. Jalen picked up the ball. Come on, one last one-on-one for old times. Marcus smirked. You sure, last time didn't end too good for you? Jalen laughed. Yeah, well, I got better. They played slow, no cameras, no crowd, just laughter, trash talk, and the sound of sneakers sliding on the court. Halfway through, Jalen let Marcus drive past him on purpose. Marcus noticed. Don't go easy on me. Jalen smiled, just returning the favor. Marcus scored and leaned on the wall, catching his breath. You always were a show-off. Jalen shot back. Yeah, well, you were always right. They laughed until they could barely stand, sweat dripping, hearts light. Scene 4, the Hall of Fame night. 2 years later, Jalen stood on stage at the NBA Awards, holding a plaque that read, Most Valuable Player. Cameras flashed from every angle. He took a deep breath before speaking. I worked my whole life for this, but truth is, this trophy doesn't belong to me alone. He paused, emotion in his voice. It belongs to my brother, Marcus Carter, the man who taught me discipline, the man who gave up his dreams so I could live mine, the best player I ever faced, and the best man I've ever known. The crowd rose in applause. Cameras caught Marcus in the audience, standing, clapping slowly, pride shining through quiet tears. Scene 5, Legacy. Years later, the Carter Academy grew into a national foundation. Hundreds of kids earned scholarships, many from neighborhoods that once had nothing. Inside the Shreveport gym, a mural covered the back wall, 2 brothers, side by side, one holding a basketball, the other with a whistle around his neck. Below it, in bold letters, Brothers of the Game, Heart Never ITIS. Every day, new kids came in, chasing dreams on that same polished floor. And sometimes, if you listened closely late at night, you could almost hear 2 voices echoing from the past, laughing, arguing, teaching, the rhythm of love, rivalry, and basketball that never truly ended. The end.